folks. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome back. This is our 11th video for our chapter, What Have I Become? What are you made of? What kind of person are you? How many cells make your body? What's happening in those cells when you're healthy or sick? And how do the cells do what they do with all those molecules? Do they have a degree in chemistry? Let's keep moving forward. We're on slide 55. Sliding 55 says, eating is important. True enough. You know it is. You might be hungry right now. What are you eating right now? What's in your mouth? Spit it out. I'm kidding. Slide 55. Go ahead and write that in your notebook. Write slide 55. So according to slide 55, it says, and we should copy this, it says eating keeps carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, and nitrogen atoms in your body. So eating keeps these 4 elements in our body, and they are used to make the 4 chemical substances necessary for life. That is proteins, lipids, nucleic acids, and carbohydrates. Nutritional facts always list lipids or fat molecules. Nutritional facts always list carbohydrate molecules, and nutritional facts always label protein molecules. They list a lot more, but they always identify those 3 out of the 4 necessary for life 4 molecules. All right, let's keep moving. So it says foods affect our bodies, and that's because whatever we eat gets digested into a certain type of molecule. So if we eat meat, it gets digested down to amino acid molecules. If we eat carbohydrates, they get digested into sugars, or the carbohydrates get digested into energy and fiber in our body. All of these molecules, very important, and do special things for your body and help build cells. You also consume fats or lipids, and lipids get digested into vital molecules, things that the body will use to do many things. And eating other lipids or fatty foods break down into other special fat or lipid molecules that the body needs. You truly are what you eat. What is your diet like? Think about it. Are you eating mostly hot Cheetos and burgers and fries, or are you eating a lot of vegetables and fresh fruits, non-fried foods? What you choose to eat really does affect your health and the health of your cells. Let's revisit a great video and animation we've done before. It's called You Are What You Eat, and it's done by After School. The animation's terrific. These are a bunch of happy cells. Let's watch them live. Uh-oh, looks like we have a cell that died. Oh, we have another cell that died. This happens all the time. And then we eat food. If we eat healthy food, good food for us, we build healthy cells from all those molecules we digested. But if we eat snacks and unhealthy food, the cells that we build from those molecules aren't necessarily the best. So we got to think about this. We have cells doing all things for us, helping us think and do work. Our ear cells are helping us listen to music. Our muscle cells are helping us exercise and build. They do everything. We got to take care of them. That means eating healthy food. Because without eating healthy food, you get a bunch of molecules that may not make the best cells possible for you. You may not be getting the right molecules and atoms to build the best cells and the best molecules for those cells. Look at them go, trying to take care of you, trying to help you. They want you to be happy and healthy. Take care of your cells. Treat your body good. All right, to drive the point a little further, here we are inside the stomach. And you can see the apples, the fresh vegetables, break down to help make good molecules the body needs to build the best cells possible. But you can see unhealthy foods provide the body with not the best molecules to build the healthiest cells. So we have a bunch of unhealthy cells, all because of all that bad food eating. And that's why eventually you lead to poor health. All right, just as a review, I thought we would think about our old ecology. This is a trophic pyramid with trophic levels. Primary consumers, we have our producers, primary consumers, secondary consumers, and tertiary consumers. We can relate everything we're learning about now to it. When the primary consumers eat the producers, they get glucose and carbohydrates. They get energy and fiber from that. When the secondary consumers consume the primary consumers, they get meat, protein, and they make lots of amino acids. If the rabbit contains any of the energy and fiber from the vegetables it ate or the fruit it ate, the secondary consumer would also get that. So they'd get a lot of the good molecules they need. And then finally, you have your top-level tertiary consumers getting more protein and more essential or important molecules to build its body. And all along the way, energy is released from these foods. So we're getting energy, and these animals are getting energy from the things that they eat, but they're also getting the building blocks, the molecules they need to build their cells. And it all starts with this basic level thing here, the producers, who are able to construct glucose molecules within their bodies that the primary consumers eat up. And then along the food chain we go. Check this out. We have carbohydrates. We have examples of 8 different carbohydrates, from potatoes to lavash bread, pancit, frijoles or beans, fried rice, chow mein, tabbouleh, or chips. They're all examples of carbohydrates. They're from plants. They're grains or fruit, vegetables. They're all carbohydrates. Now, when they're all digested, so as we try to digest the food, we consume it, right? It goes into our stomach, and our body starts processing these larger food particles into smaller and smaller molecules. In this example, protein was consumed, and it digested down to amino acid molecules. But based on the type of food you eat, depends on the type of molecule produced at the end. But think about this digestion and the molecules we're getting from it. Let's take a look at what some of those molecules do for our body, or what our cells might use them for. So back to these 8 examples of carbohydrates. Well, we get glucose. It's a major source of energy. It's the quickest source of energy for our cells. We get fiber from carbohydrates. These molecules here, this is a simple example of carbohydrate. They reduce cancer risks in the intestines. They improve blood health and function. They even reduce your chances of obesity. We also use carbohydrates to build other molecules like ATP, which is the food, it's the energy molecule we make from food. It looks like this, ATP. Another molecule. We also use carbohydrates to build super important molecules like DNA. And then lastly, interesting enough, the more carbs you eat, the more you prevent or reduce your chance of fat burning. So you're less likely to remove fat or take fat out of your cells the more carbs you eat, which is good and bad. If you keep the fat in your fat cells, you're less likely to starve to death. But of course, if you want to look skinny, that's bad. So think about how much carbs you eat in life. Here we have numerous examples of delicious meats or proteins. And we have chicken lulo, carne asada, chicken adobo. Oh, your favorite crickets. We had some hot chicken, some southern United States style Nashville inspired hot chicken. And we have some honey walnut shrimp. Maybe you've been to Panda Express. It's really good. Get it. Now these sources of meat end up producing in our bodies protein molecules. Let's check out what they do for us. Some of the protein we eat will end up being used to make enzymes inside our cells. Enzymes are small molecules, protein molecules that cause chemical reactions to keep our cells and organisms alive. They break chemical bonds, as in this picture. You have bonds between molecules here, and these enzymes break them apart into individual parts. They can also form chemical bonds, but they do all the chemical reactions in your cell to keep you alive. Proteins can also be broken down into what's called neurotransmitters, and that basically is what affects your emotions. They chemically control your emotions. So the more protein you eat, they break down or can be turned into neurotransmitters that in your brain cause you to feel emotions like anxiety or happiness or love or stress. Some proteins in the body, after you eat them, become transporter proteins. They're these little tunnels in the cell membrane or the coating of the cell, and it allows things to go in and out of the cell. And then a lot of the protein you eat ends up becoming contractile proteins, like this, where you can see special proteins that change their shape. They change their length from this, it's relaxed muscle, to contracted or doing work. So some proteins are called contractile proteins found inside muscle cells, and they just help your muscles flex and do work. Here we have some delicious examples of lipids or fat molecules, or fat-based foods or lipid-based foods. We have hummus, avocados, butter, and cheese, salad dressing. These are all great examples of how we get the fat molecules or the lipid molecules our body needs. And they taste good. They make food taste good. They have a lot of functions too. We use lipid molecules like this to build our cell membranes. We store extra lipid molecules in our fat cells. So it's not that we increase how many fat cells we have. So when we're obese, it's not that we're adding fat cells. Each fat cell just gets larger as it stores more lipid fat molecules. Lipids also help insulate our body. So the more body fat we have, or the bigger our lipids, or the amount of fat in our fat cells are, the more we put in there, the better our body insulates or keeps our temperature so we don't get too cold. Also, lipids and fat molecules we eat are used as cell messengers, so when they get digested into molecules, we can use them, like in this example, hormones, like when you go through puberty. And the same for the women. So you have the testosterone hormone, and we make that in our cells from the lipids we eat. And same for estrogen. Estrogen is a lipid molecule. Estrogen helps females develop into adult maturity, just like it does for men. Straight to the testes or ovaries or breast area. Yikes. All right, slide 61 is about making or breaking chemical bonds. So this title here will help you as you answer question 1 and 2. So in your notebook, write slide 61, and then we're going to, for number 1, let's write this sentence down. So go ahead and pause the screen or make sure you're looking so you can read the screen. So for number 1, write this sentence in green, and make sure you have the blanks because we're going to fill them in later. And then for number 2, write this simple, smaller sentence in green. So go ahead and freeze the screen or pause it and zoom in so you can copy this sentence down also in your notebook. You are to choose the blanks or the words you're going to put in the blanks using this word bank. So any words you might need are in this word bank. And again, you're choosing words from the word bank to place in these empty spots in the sentence. I'm going to help you with number 1. I'll help you answer it. And number 2 you'll do on your own. Number 1 is about someone eating pasta. They're eating carbohydrates that are later going to be digested for energy. So the title again is called Making or Breaking Chemical Bonds. And if you digest large carbohydrates, if you're digesting them, you're breaking chemical bonds. So the bonds are broken during, so the chemical bond, you choose this word, the chemical bond are broken during digestion. Again, we're talking about image B. This occurs when the blank are no longer shared. So what here is shared in a chemical bond? That's right, it's electrons. So this occurs, you can break bonds when the electrons are no longer shared between atoms of a molecule. This makes smaller molecules. End sentence. Number 2 says, image 3, you have a girl exercising. It says, as she uses weights, she's increasing protein fibers in her muscle cells. Her muscles will increase in size because of it. So she'll get bigger muscles. Your job is to complete this sentence. It says, the blank are formed during blank. This forms larger or smaller blank. choose the words from the word bank. All right, good luck.